Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Matthew, and I'm the founder of Hedge, and I'm basically a company that does crypto consultations, research, as well as helping people getting into markets safely and avoiding scams. This is a relatively new field of investment, and I want to make sure that no one gets wrecked. I got to start off by saying this is not financial advice. All I'm telling you here is that I'm giving you an opinion, a very educated opinion of someone who reads a lot of news. So really all I am is a news source as well as a research source. So as long as that's clarified, all my viewers should be good from here. So what I wanted to talk about today specifically would be Elon Musk. So there's been a lot of talking about Elon Musk entering crypto, hype. What's the deal with that? Well, from here I'm going to break it down and you'll be able to find the sources at the end of this video in the links. And what I wanted to say was this. Elon Musk has been on Twitter talking about Doge for over a year. It's been on his feed. He's made little jokes about it. I've been saying he's in the market for a while. A lot of people said I was crazy, but it's coming out now that crazy isn't necessarily stupid. So here's my hypothesis as to what has happened. Elon Musk has been mining or potentially buying a lot of Dogecoin. He's been pumping the markets, and then after the last significant pump of let's say 1,000%, he locked his profits into Bitcoin, which is what every smart person should do. Right around that time, Tesla comes out saying that they bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now, you would be thinking, all right, well, Elon Musk pumped Doge and he dumped it and he has the Bitcoin. Why would he buy with Tesla now? Why doesn't he just come out and say he has Bitcoin? Well, it's complicated because the second he says that he did that, he goes into court for pumping and dumping. So what he decided to do was he decided to take it, whatever he earned through his Dogecoin pumps, and take that Bitcoin and put it into Tesla and wash it. So now that Bitcoin has officially been cleaned by that action. So realistically, it's not just the entrance of Tesla into Bitcoin, it's also the acknowledgement that Elon has been in crypto for a while. Obviously, that's a lot to take in, right? He's technically pumped the markets, dumped them, and now he's putting his money into Bitcoin as Tesla, right? Another thing that really proves my point as to him being in the market is this. Who started PayPal? It was Tesla. With the Boring Company of Tesla. Elon Musk, excuse me. Elon Musk with the Boring Company. Who announced their entry into cryptocurrency last year in 2020? PayPal. So PayPal is getting into crypto. Elon Musk is getting into crypto, and there's a clear correlation because someone telling me that Elon has no hand in PayPal's decisions anymore is crazy. He started that company. If Elon said it's happening, chances are it's going to be happening. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was this, specifically about PayPal's model with Bitcoin. PayPal allows it so you can buy Bitcoin within their app and sell it within their app. You could deposit it into their app, but you cannot withdraw it. So what does that tell you? That tells you that this company is locking down as much Bitcoin in their network as possible, and they're making it impossible for it to leave. Meaning that this tech company is positioning themselves to potentially be our banks in the future. That's a lot to take in.
And do you think that's a good or bad thing that Tesla is trying to accumulate a lot of Bitcoin?
It's good and it's bad. Anyone who's holding Bitcoin at this point will likely see a lot of profit. But anyone who's not holding Bitcoin will likely see it as a bad thing. Because the price will go parabolic. And the reality is, this is my technical analysis guy, by the way. The reality of it is this. If Elon Musk, Tesla, and all these massive institutions are starting to throw Bitcoin into their reserves as a hedge against inflation, you should see that as an opportunity to capitalize. Because these guys wouldn't be throwing billions of dollars into something that was trash or unproven or considered, I guess, not real. But the reality is that these companies are buying it. And not only are they buying it, they're buying it fast, they're buying it hard, and they're buying it at any price. $1.5 billion at almost 40,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. That for me tells me one thing. It will at least double to triple up within this year. That's just a common sense thing. And even if it doesn't within this year, in 10 years from now, it will. Minimum. Because it's just math. 21 million Bitcoin divided by a market cap of $1 trillion roughly in the entire space. You just have to divide it. So if Bitcoin dominance, let's say of that $1 trillion is 70%, you're taking 70% of $1 trillion and you're putting it into 21 million. It's simple math. You're just dividing the total amount of Bitcoin by the total amount of money. And that's where you're going to be getting the supply, or vice versa. Total amount of money divided by total amount of Bitcoin. And the scariest part of all that is this. The corporations have noticed one thing. Amount of Bitcoin, not actually going to be 21 million. Think about how many people have been losing their Bitcoin. Inaccessible, gone. We're going to be closer to 14, 15 million Bitcoin actually in circulation by the end of this thing. And it will probably be even less than that. So now you have to divide that within how much Bitcoin there is, how much market cap there is. And then from there you ask yourself, is it even possible for Bitcoin to go to a technical zero if people have lost their seeds and their keys and their money in the network? Technically, for Bitcoin to go to zero, it's almost impossible. Just because people who've lost their keys, guess what? They couldn't even pull out if they wanted to. So technically, the real bottom or zero of Bitcoin would probably be closer to a few $1,000s.
In your opinion, do you think, what is the price prediction of Bitcoin for the year 2021? Where do you think Bitcoin is going to be by the end of this year?
This isn't financial advice, it's an opinion that's backed by research and news. Like I said, that will be posted source-wise in the links. We're looking at probably a 6-figure Bitcoin. And if it's not going to be in 2021, it will be at the beginning of 2022. It's inevitable.
And Elon Musk hopping onto the Bitcoin wagon.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of big companies will follow suit?
Oh yeah. He's the first mover. And not only is he the first mover, he's going to be the mover that moves the market. There's a reason Elon Musk did what he did. He is sitting on a relatively big bag of Bitcoin, or at the very least, he's in positions with people who have a lot of Bitcoin. And by him making a public move with Tesla to be in Bitcoin, and even years ago he said he had a quarter of a Bitcoin from a very long time ago. From a very, very long time ago. He said that you could literally look up. Regardless, Tesla's made that move. A lot of other companies are going to follow suit because guess what? Tesla, one of the most valuable companies in the world today. PayPal, one of the most valuable companies in the world today. Look at Apple, one of the most valuable corporations in the world. They also decided that they were going to jump into this.
I think it was Michael Saylor
Who started it? Yeah.
who did a meeting with a few companies.
Yeah.
I think Starbucks was involved as well.
1,400 Fortune 500 companies or something along those lines, like big companies, not nobodies. And he's talking about them putting 1% of their wealth into Bitcoin. At what percent of their wealth, you're adding tremendous amounts of money and volume into Bitcoin.
With that happening, with all these big Fortune companies jumping on to Bitcoin, even if it's a small position, what does that mean for retail investors? What is your opinion that they should be doing based on this news?
Well, I recommend that they hold. My recommendation is you hold for one reason. Anyone who's in retail, even people who haven't even entered in retail, they could enter at the current price and likely see double to triple their investment within a few years. And from there, I asked them, would you even want to pull out if something like that just keeps on steamrolling as a reserve asset? Because then there comes a whole new question. Are you going to enter an inflated fiat economy where we're constantly printing debt beyond anything we'll ever be able to repay? Because at the end of the day, guess what? We're going to repay that debt via taxes over time, us as the young people. Because guess what? The people who are printing this money, the people that are smashing the economy and destroying the dollar, they're in their 60s, they're in their 70s, they're all dead. They will never see the repercussions of their actions. Only us, who are at the bottom 98%, will see it.
What is your strategy with Bitcoin right now? What's your buy-in price, and what's your whole mentality with Bitcoin right now? When are you going to buy, and how long are you going to hold, and when would you sell? When would be a good time to sell?
Okay, so from here, this is where I recommend you need to have a strategy in place because everyone's situation will be different. but I will tell you my opinion as to how you could approach it, so that way you could cover your ass and make as much profit with as little risk as possible. And how I would recommend that is you would start anything under $50,000 Bitcoin, you buy it. 50,000 US, by the way. You don't use anything other than US dollars because the reserve currency. You can buy it in Canadian or whatever, but understand that the price is pegged by US dollars for the time being. And that's just so that there's a general less confusion. But you buy anything under 50,000. If there's a dip, you keep buying the dip.
So you would recommend dollar cost averaging
Dollar
the dips?
cost average, yes. You dollar cost average the dips, and then when you, let's say you go up 100 to 200% in profit, anywhere within that range, where now you've doubled or tripled your investment, take out your initial investment. Take out whatever you put in, be it $1,000 or $5,000, whatever you decide you are comfortable with putting in. The second your portfolio triples, you pull out your initial investment. Then you let the other parts ride. It's easy to have strong hands when you've taken out any possibility of loss. And then from there, when you've taken out that risk and you completely destroy any notion of panic within your market, from there you'll be able to approach the market with a very clear and calm mind, which is what you need to make money.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to understand that. It's a market where it's easy to be greedy in, and you should always pay yourself first. So if you are in a place where you're making profit, pay yourself, make your profit, and don't get too greedy.
Yeah, and I want to say one last thing to tie all that up together. When entering Bitcoin, you have to look at it like, where will this go in 10 years? Don't look at it for quick fiat gains. Look at it in terms of what does this thing provide beyond just internet money. And what it provides, I'll tell you right now, is it provides money that is borderless and without government control. Meaning that this is the beginning of our attempt to separate the money from the state and putting it into an open economy where anyone can participate without being penalized by the American government for not letting them take their oil for free. This is the beginning of money that when you want to send it to someone, a charity or to a person or to whatever you need to do, there's no one that could stop it and say, hey, why are you sending that money? Well, if it was my money, I worked hard for it. It should be my prerogative to say how I'm going to spend it or give it to someone. Why should a bank tell me how I'm going to spend my money? Especially when they're the ones collapsing the economy and then making us pay it back through inflation and taxes. All this to say is that I've given you a lot to think about, and there'll be more of these videos coming. So, like and subscribe, follow us, and get your knowledge.